Hello and welcome to the EV Loop podcast powered by Carloop. I'm Adrian Maidment.
And I'm Akhtar, your host.
This episode includes sales data for August, Chinese EV sales, European EV sales, Tesla performance, you can now buy one, and Elon Musk, $1 trillion. Hi, Riz.
Hey, Adrian, good to be on.
How's your week been?
Had a Nissan Ariya launch where we started near Melbourne Airport, drove all the way down to the beautiful Mornington Peninsula, tested the car out, and then learned some things of what Nissan is planning on doing in the coming sort of months and years and what's driving their decisions, which I'll likely have more to share next week on. We're still under an embargo for that, and then the test drive experience of that Nissan Ariya as well. Anyone that's interested, have a look at my LinkedIn. I shared a couple of photos from the drive day. And then from there, came back to Melbourne Airport, went to Sydney, and in Sydney had the Deepal E07 multi-truck. That is the ute that transforms into a truck launch, where we drove out to the Hunter Valley and got to test out the car on various different road conditions. Quite interesting, the way that car drives, loaded with tech, and customer deliveries have already started. Also, we'll share more on what it's like to drive because it's still under an embargo on our next episode.
The EV sales for the previous month, we might as well kick off with that. What's happening in Australia, Riz?
Yeah, big news. We've had the second best-selling month for EV sales ever. The first one was in June, where we had over 10% of all vehicle sales was a battery electric vehicle. And July had a bit of a downturn, and August things have bounced back, where we've got 9.7% of all cars sold was an electric car. That's created quite a bit of buoyancy where people are a bit upbeat. The number of models that are coming out, that are already out, those that are climbing the sales charts. BYD outselling Tesla in the month as well when it comes to battery electric vehicles. So yeah, lots of things the numbers are increasing when it comes to electric vehicles in Australia.
And just the top five is BYD Atto 3 at number 5, Tesla Model 3 at 4, BYD Seal, BYD C-Line 7, and number 1, Tesla Model Y.
Yeah, so looking at those, Tesla Model Y had a really, really good month. The C-Line 7 has been pretty consistent, which, is a good thing. Seems there's quite a lot of demand. And yeah, the other BYD models sort of closing in the top 5. There's also the Geely EX5 that I think is still plodding along in the top 10. All in all, we had just a bit over 10,000 battery electric vehicles sold in August, making it a pretty good month. Also, it's been the month where there's been a lot more incentives that are starting to get thrown around by electric vehicle car makers, as well as a lot more marketing, which means that plenty more new drivers are being exposed to electric cars, and hopefully once they test drive it, they would want to get behind the wheel of one. So the rest of the year at this point in time is looking pretty positive.
I'm just going to step in there. We've got a quick update on New Zealand. We're going the other way. Ours is quite negative, actually. Bit of a slump. Only 4.4% of electric vehicles sold. Only 4.4% of vehicles sold were electric.
Right.
A lot of articles with the word slump in them. But the top 5, somehow the BZ4X is in there. Kia LDV E-Deliver 3, Ford E-Transit, and number 1 Tesla Model Y. There's a bit of a mix of EVs in the top 5.
Hey, LDV Deliver 3, I think we need more electric vans, so hopefully that's a bit of a start of what's to come. But yes, as you said, a bit of a slump, but hopefully the rest of the year things will start to pick up with new models launching. I think we had the Geely Radar electric ute come to market in August. So as those, sort of early sales start, we will see how that adds to the sales tally.
Talking now, we'll move on to the some other news. Tesla Model Y, we talked about it last week. the performance version, and was sort of when it's coming to New Zealand and everything. But now the prices are actually out and it's available. It's on the websites, Tesla websites.
That's it. Over 20 grand more than the long range in Australia, with first deliveries expected to start in December 2025. Interesting part about this car, we covered quite a bit last week. Apart from more performance, faster acceleration, better handling with new adaptive dampers, more comfort on the inside, slightly larger screen as well, and a few other styling sort of changes to it, with a bit more carbon fiber around in many parts of the car. Yeah, as I said, over $20,000 more than the long range. So yeah, it was missing when the car was initially launched back in January, but being introduced now, and I guess one of the more interesting part about this car is that it will be coming from Tesla's Berlin factory instead of Tesla's Shanghai factory, which has been supplying cars to us since, I believe, early 2021. So the Model Y Performance currently being built at Tesla's Berlin plant in Germany.
Yep, and on the Tesla website, the Australian one, I clicked on for New South Wales for my region, and it says from the starting price is 89400 with the long range all-wheel drive is 68900 before you get into the add-ons. Maybe one question with your extensive Tesla knowledge. What do you think's the sweet spot for a Model Y potential purchase now, Riz?
I always thought that the standard range or the rear-wheel drive is a pretty good car for the money. You know, it basically gives you, in my opinion, 98% of the overall Tesla experience. But surprisingly, quite a few more people have been buying the long range as well at the moment. And generally, long range vehicles are purchased by people that either want a little bit more faster acceleration or are new to the electric vehicle space. And because it has the word long range in its title, they are, still new to the whole EV charging, and they think they're going to need more of the range than they actually do. So that's probably what's driving those purchasing decisions. But in my opinion, the rear-wheel drive is sort of the really good sort of sweet spot, especially the new model drives really well, has all the latest tech, and is likely to, offer full self-driving supervised. The whole range is, but at that price point, the base car can do pretty much everything as well. So I think it's a good sweet spot for that Model Y range.
Speaking of sweet spot, that could be Elon Musk's bank account with the article that the Tesla board want to give him, not for doing some work, they want to give him $1 trillion over 10 years. I thought maybe we should just mention that in passing.
Yeah, look, I think there's some pretty high targets associated with that $1 trillion.
But that's quite a high number, though, Riz. That's quite a high number.
It is a very high number. But it goes...
Turn up and do your job and get $1 trillion.
Well, I think that financial compensation hasn't been something that Elon Musk has been getting from Tesla, because a lot of his stuff is locked up in shares. Hence, he's the richest person if you look at the share prices and the increase in valuations. But I guess it's one way to keep Elon Musk focused on Tesla. If we really want all of those self-driving cars, robots, energy solutions deployed at scale, given he has been an influence behind a lot of the Tesla's product decisions and advancements in technology. If that keeps him locked in, then I guess that's probably a good thing for the company, so it can get to its $6, $8, $10 trillion valuation that it's hoping for over the next couple of years. So yeah, interesting times. I mean, I guess, you and I are not at that level when it comes to our wage compensation. I think we'll be happy with a thousandth of that. But it's interesting decision by the Tesla board.
Yeah. So he's got a few targets. We'll see how that plays out. And good luck to him. Good luck to him on that challenge. Right. New vehicle time. Probably one of the big splashes this week, I would say, would be the new BMW Riz.
Yeah. So the BMW has released their Neue Klasse, the new class, which is the next generation electric vehicle platform that BMW has been developing for a couple of years now. It's going to debut in the new BMW iX3 50X drive that has been unveiled in Germany this week, featuring 800 400 kilowatt of fast charging speeds, which can add 350 kilometers of WLTP range in about 10 minutes. And quite a few other advancements, such as its pillar-to-pillar screen or secondary screen that they've got, and yeah, just the overall design of the car, bringing in quite a few of the new technologies that the company's been working on. First customer deliveries in Australia are expected in the second quarter of 2026. It's probably the right step for the company, particularly because, they were the only German luxury car maker that was getting some real runs on the board when it came to electric vehicles. And I think the Neue Klasse or the iX3 takes it a step further. I think it will attract a lot of people, a lot of new buyers to the brand, but also help a lot of their current ICE customers who would normally buy a diesel or a petrol vehicle to consider the electric platform as well. So looking forward to getting behind the wheel of one. But at least it's been unveiled. It's not a concept anymore. And, if there's one company out of the European trio that can really get some runs on the board, that would be BMW with their new Neue Klasse. So, yeah, great to finally see it unveil. I'm sure we'll see a lot more content on that car as it eventually arrives into our local market next year.
Another big point is it's on a separate platform. Like the current EVs are based on the same platform as the petrol cars, so it's all separate, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, new 800 volt architecture.
Yeah. So that looks good. So I watched a few videos on that already. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Speaking of new vehicles, what have you been driving, Riz, recently?
So the last week I've been in the Audi Q6 e-tron. And it's been, I had the Q4 the week before. Nice car. Q6 takes it up a notch. It's based on the same architecture that the Porsche Macan electric vehicle is on. Overall, pretty impressed with the way it drives, the dynamics, the handling, the material choices. Obviously, it comes at a price close to $158,000 plus on roads, so definitely up there. But lots of Alcantara, what you'd expect from a sort of high-end premium luxury German SUV. Definitely has a pretty bold stance on the road. So yeah, very tough, but very expensive at the same time. Handling-wise, like I said, does a great job. I quite like the regeneration mode that it has. You can basically drive it as a one pedal sort of drive that you find in some electric cars, which a lot of the Chinese cars do not offer actually at the moment, where you still have to rely on the brake pedal, but this would come to a stop if you let go of the accelerator. So all in all, pretty good experience as such. So that's what I have been in, an Audi Q6 e-tron, SQ6 e-tron actually, so it's their sports version.
And I'd like to make a special mention of the cliche punny headlines used on the websites, both in Australia and New Zealand. The Australian website says, "All roads lead here." And on the New Zealand website, it says, "Turning electric dreams into reality. This is Audi."
I remember their old slogan, something along the lines of "It's all in the technique." Now, yeah, I think there's quite a lot of Audi buyers that'll be pleased with what the SQ6 has to offer, but there's plenty of other options now as well.
Yes, we'll stay on European EVs, and Volkswagen is going to rebrand the old IDs and make people understand what they are better by linking it to the legacy brands, which I think is a good idea, Riz.
Yeah, the legacy models, so like I think the ID, there'll be an ID Polo and ID a couple of other things. Because I think, yeah, the ID4s and the 5s and the 7s and the future ID2 and of course the ID3, at least it was logical. But if they want to be mass market electric vehicle maker, someone in a current Polo or a Golf should have an option of an ID Polo or a Golf. So I think it's the right move.
Okay, let's move on to chart of the week. Riz, what chart have you got for us this week?
So the number of fast chargers, so we're going to talk about fast charging. Number of fast chargers in Australia has officially exceeded 1,400 sites across the country. with over 4,000 charging bays, which is also a bit of a milestone. Lots of activity starting to happen as the number of EVs rise. We're going to see more and more of that. Let's hope that it remains reliable and there is larger and larger sites to accommodate thousands of electric cars making it onto our roads. As I mentioned earlier, over 10,000 of them in August alone.
Let's talk clarity, Riz. I want to talk clarity of Chinese EV sales. I think they were like top 4 out of the top 10 in EV sales. Oh no, was it top 4 out of top 10 for
So in the total number of vehicles sold, the Chinese brands, there were 4 brands in the top 10 car sales. So top 10 best-selling car brands, 4 of them were Chinese. Having said that, if you look at the EV sales, it's pretty much dominated by Tesla, BYD, Geely, and hints of MG. If we combine all of those, that makes up quite a big chunk of what, electric vehicles are currently being sold. I think with that in mind, that trend is going to increase given the number of new models that are around the corner from existing Chinese brands such as BYD, but also new ones as well. So one thing to definitely keep an eye out on the Chinese brands that are coming in to our market over the last couple of years and those that are just around the corner.
And there's quite a few stories about, sort of read one way, BYD's, sales increasing and the sales are decreasing. So this is more internationally. Do you think that the trend there is, they're still very competitive within the local market, aren't they? There's a lot of competition, cost cutting and price cutting.
Yeah, huge amount of competition for BYD. They are obviously the biggest player when it comes to new energy vehicles, and they have a model in pretty much every segment, starting from a small segment such as Seagull, small in terms of size, not in terms of sales, because it's one of their best-selling cars, all the way up to luxury 3-row SUVs. So, yeah, they've covered a lot of segments, a lot of models. I see their UK onslaught is continuing. They're on to releasing the 8th model, which comes as a sedan and a wagon, but they're powered by their plug-in hybrid technology. So CL6 is what's just been launched over there. In European and other markets, their sales are growing. In the local Chinese market, which last I heard added up to 80% of their total sales, it's still a little bit on the slow end. Like things are starting to slow down a little bit, but that could be cyclical. We'll probably see a bounce back. I know this week there's been reports that say that the overall sales target, which was over 5 million cars for 2025, has been reduced to around 4.6 million vehicles, which is more in line, still growth over last year, but not at the high growth targets that were set earlier this year by the company. I don't think things are, dire. It's just the cycles are a little bit like that. But the market will change, and as they grow in, in international markets and sort of not have as much reliance on their local Chinese market, things will start to take shape for them in a big way.
Okay. I was going to do a top tip section, Riz.
The top tips, particularly when it comes to charging, know the top charging companies in your area. So in Australia, for example, it's EV Networks, ChargeFox, Tesla. There's also some emerging companies like Explorer and others that are starting to roll out quite a few of their chargers. And then you have the petrol companies such as Ampol with their Amp Charge network. That's also now growing outside of the petrol stations in shopping centers, in car parks, with larger sites with 6, 8, some 10 bay sites as well in the works. And then you have the BP Pulse sites as well. Yeah, sort of, have those 4 or 5 apps on your phone, set them up so that if you do rock up, you can charge at their sites in many parts of the country. So, yeah, charging is one of those things. Not everyone needs to DC charge, but it's just good to practice and know what you need to know when you do take a road trip in your electric car.
And Riz, what is some new vehicles we need to be looking out for? Probably from China, I'm presuming.
Yeah, that's right. So we had another brand that is in the works that are coming to Australia GAC, a Guangzhou automotive company, they have their Ion UT electric hatchback spotted this week in Sydney, which shows that, they are getting closer to launching in our market. That UT hatchback was recently launched in Thailand and has been a pretty big success with thousands of pre-orders. Comes in 2 battery packs, 50 kilowatt hours and 60 kilowatt hours, providing WLTP range of 320 up to 400 kilometers. And yeah, quite a nice little city electric hatchback. In the Thailand market, its starting price is equivalent to under 25,000 Australian dollars, and the top spec premium version is under 30,000 Australian dollars. Would be pretty happy if it comes anywhere around there, because currently the cheapest electric car you can buy in the country is the BYD Dolphin Essential, and that starts at just under 30,000 Australian dollars as well. So that competition in that space is heating up, and the 2 or 3 cars that I've mentioned, all of them are cheaper than the Toyota Corolla Hybrid. That's that's a market that's going to start to see quite a bit of its market share taken away in the coming years. More electric hatchbacks, more affordable, and they'll be even better on the used electric car market. So Ion UT, definitely a vehicle to keep an eye out for later this year, but likely Q1 in 2026 in the Australian market.
Okay, let's just get to a bit of a wrap-up stage.
I have a very, very special car that I will be driving. I'll call it vaguely driving in Melbourne, and I'll have more to share next week again with our audience. So yeah, that's going to be pretty special.
Okay, Riz, we'll probably leave it there and see you next week.
See you next time, everyone.
Embargo free.